friends. Today we're going to make macaroni salad. Now this is the recipe that if you learn how to make it, don't let your friends know you know how to make it because they're always going to ask you to make it. It's time consuming, but it turns out really, really good. You're going to need quite a few ingredients to make it. Here are all the ingredients. You got macaronis, you got pickles, ham, cheese, green onions, eggs, radishes. This is everything that I use. There is really no recipe for this one. This is something that I learned from my mom how to make, and like I said, everybody asks for it when it's birthday parties or different family functions. So like I said, if you learn how to make it, don't let your friends know that you know how to make it because they're going to ask you all the time. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get everything boiling. When I say everything, I mean your macaronis and your eggs. I'm using two kinds of macaroni, elbow macaroni and tricolor tortellini. I don't know why, it just tastes better if you have both of them in there. For a big batch like this, I'm going to do 4 cups of the tortellini and 2 to 3 cups of the elbow macaroni. And make sure when you're boiling your macaroni, you flavor the water with a little bit of dried onions, and I'm using sea salt. Again, it just gives your pasta a little bit better flavor. At the same time, you're going to want to boil eggs. Again, depending on how many eggs you want in your macaroni salad, I'm going to probably use 10 of them. And so the easiest way that I find to boil eggs, to make them a hard-boiled egg, is start with empty pot, put 10 eggs in there, fill with cold water, put on the stove, bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you go ahead and put a lid on this pot, remove it from the heat, and let it sit. You're going to come out with the perfectly hard-boiled eggs for your macaroni salad. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and cut up everything else that goes into this macaroni salad. First, we're going to start with these honey ham steaks. I'm using 3 of them. We're going to have a whole package of this Cracker Barrel cheddar cheese. Those are going to get cubed up. We're going to add some radishes, we're going to add some green peppers, and we're going to add some pickles. All of this gets chopped up into small cubes and put into the bowl. If you want to save some time and you have one of these at home, this is a little shredder thing, a little full-color shredder. Makes things a lot easier. I always put the pickles and the radishes in there. Just shreds everything, makes it basically so you can't even tell it's in there. Unless you want that, then I suggest cutting it by hand, but that's what we're going to do next here. Well, my macaroni is boiling back here, and so is the eggs. Okay, here you guys go. Everything's all chopped up. You got your ham, you got your cheese, you got your pickles, you got your onions, and you got your radishes all chopped up here. I did use the chopper to do the pickles and the radishes, so that's why they're quite small. I used probably 10 radishes, probably 12 big pickles, that whole pack of cheese, there was 12 slices in there, 3 of those ham steaks. Again, this is a pretty big batch. You can cut it back if you're doing something smaller. You don't see right now, you will not see any egg in here. That is one of the last things that you add into this recipe. The other thing is you do not want to have hot macaroni going into this. So once your macaroni is done boiling, you want to bring that macaroni down to almost freezing temperature. I have put it in the freezer in the past, or just run it under really cold water. Because if you add it to it at this point, you're going to have melted cheese and heated up ham, which is no good. So it's been about 15 or 20 so minutes since these eggs came to a boil, and I took them off the heat and put the lid on them. Now they should be good and hard boiled, or well, hard steamed, I guess. And so the quickest way I find is just run it under your sink under nice cold water, and that'll stop the cooking process, and it'll make, easy to get the shells off of it. And that's all I do. Yeah, I just let them sit here under this cold water for like 5 minutes, and it should cool them off perfectly so that you can shell them. Same thing with your hard-boiled eggs. You want to make sure that they are really cold before you cut them up and add this to the salad. So I go ahead and put these into a bowl and into the fridge. I'll actually put them overnight. This is the kind of salad I like to make the night before whatever event you're going to. For some reason, it just tastes better the next day. So these you will add at the very end. All right, now that your macaroni is strained, drained, and cooling, and all of the other things have been chopped and put into the bowl also cooling, and your eggs are also cooling, now it's time to go ahead and make the sauce that goes with this. It takes 5 ingredients. I use Miracle Whip, Kraft Miracle Whip. I'm going to use pretty much all of this jug. Like I said, I made 4 cups of the rotini and 3 cups of the elbow macaroni, so this is a pretty big batch. So yes, 1 full of these. a little bit of pickle juice, so make sure you save the pickle juice from the pickles, a little bit of French's yellow mustard, any kind of mustard will do, and then for spices or flavor, I add a little bit of seasoning salt and freshly ground black pepper. You can use whatever spices you want. I don't suggest making this spicy. I don't suggest adding garlic, but if it's something that you really wanted to try, go ahead. But these are the ingredients that I've always used for this sauce. Just for reference, there you go. I haven't mixed it up yet. Yeah, we're looking at about 2 cups of mayo. I'm going to say maybe 2 tablespoons, about 1 tablespoon of yellow mustard. I'm going to say maybe 1/4 cup of pickle juice, and the salt and pepper to taste. Again, this is completely up to you. If you figure it's too much mustard, add a little bit more mayo. If you figure it's too much mayo, add a little bit more pickle juice. You know, it's a balancing act, and you know, it's really up to the flavor that you're looking for. But this is kind of the one that I like. And that's exactly how the sauce should look. A little bit of a yellowish tinge to it from the mustard, not too yellow. And this is perfect. You can see the pepper in there and everything. All right, now that everything has come together, it's time to put it all together. So you got in here, you got your diced ham, cheese, and all that stuff. It's been cooled. Everything's good. You got your 2 kinds of macaroni in here. Right now I just got there you can see the tortellini below it. So you got your macaroni, and then you got your sauce. The easiest way that I find to do this is introduce the sauce into the pickles and everything and get it really mixed up, and then go ahead and add the macaroni afterwards. And there you go. That's what you're left with. So like I said, right now it still does not have eggs in it, and that will not get added until right before, well, tomorrow, before we go ahead and eat it. Right now it does look pretty mucky, but once everything soaks in, like the mayo and everything soaks into the cheese and into the noodles and everything, this will dry out a little bit. So in the morning, before you add the eggs, you might realize you have to add more of the sauce to it. You can add just straight mayonnaise if you want, or you can make up a whole new batch of sauce. Like I said, this does take quite a bit of sauce, especially a batch this size. So, you know, do with what depending on how mucky you really want it. This would be perfect. But like I said, by tomorrow, this will have definitely dried up a little bit, so I will have to add more sauce. I'll give you guys a quick update tomorrow once I put the eggs to it, and that'll be the final product. Well, guys, it's the next morning, and just as I figured, the macaroni salad has dried out quite a bit. So now I'm going to go ahead and chop up the eggs, add it to it, and I'm going to add a little bit more sauce to make it definitely more mucky, and I'll show you guys the finished product. And that's what it looks like when I have now cut all the eggs. You can see there's one of them. That was 10 eggs, roughly. So yeah, that's what it looks like. And then I added another probably cup or so of mayonnaise with a little bit more mustard and pickle juice to make more sauce, and that's about what I like to look at for the how much moisture to have in it. But it's completely up to you exactly how you want it. If you want it drier, then that's what you want. And there you go. Your pasta salad is done. Like I said, this has taken me 2 days. I started it yesterday, and I like to let it sit in the fridge overnight. Seems like all the flavors get better when they're, together. But you definitely can do this right before a party or, whenever you really want. You don't have to do it overnight. And like I said, all of the stuff I put in here is just what I use. You can use whatever vegetables you want. You can use whatever kind of pasta you want. These are just what I enjoy to use. But here's the real test. Let's see how it tastes. Yeah. Yep. That's... I don't know, macaroni salad is just one of my favorite things. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. See you next time.